Hi everyone, my name is Mackenzie Hawkins and this is my Theory to Practice presentation. Now I'd like to begin my presentation by talking to you about some of my experiences as a learner. Now growing up in Idaho Falls, I was surprised at the number of influential teachers that I had. Truly I was blessed when I had a lot of really great educators in my life. However, the two most influential teachers that I had were my 5th and my 6th grade teachers. And I believe that these two teachers made such a huge impact on me because they did such a good job at establishing a community of learners within the classroom, and I really felt a part of something when I was in these grades. I remember these grades positively and remember that I had a lot of friends, and I believe that a lot of credit is due to these teachers in these circumstances, and I hope that one day I can reflect these different techniques that these two teachers instilled. Two of classroom structures that I remember from my elementary schooling was daily journaling as well as turning and talking to partners. And I believe both of these structures help a lot with language arts. Daily journaling um, just really is a great way for students to practice their writing and without being scared of it being graded too harshly or really it just gives them a means to express their thoughts about a certain subject. And this also plays into the turning and talking to a partner because I believe it helps kids um, understand their thought processes and um, understand themselves better when they compare their own thoughts with other classmates. Um, and I believe that changing partners a lot will help students gain an understanding of diverse perspectives, which I believe is really important in the classroom. Some of the memorable projects that I remember having as a student were a pen pal project as well as a narrative writing projects. Um, the pen pal project was especially fun because I remember being paired up with a girl who was my age from California. So even though we were the same age, and had a lot of same common interests, our lives were very different just based on where we lived and um, how our school was like and our family life. And it was interesting talking, or well, not talking, but writing back and forth with her because I got to learn about, um, just diverse ways of living. The narrative writing projects always were one of my favorite things to do when I was younger because I've always loved creative writing and I love the word choice and I love really everything that goes into creative writing. So, being able to create something entirely original as well as going through the publication process and gave me a lot of pride as a writer when I was young, and I believe that that has made a lasting impression on my future. Some of my beliefs on learning um, are kind of a mixture of the humanistic theory as well as the social cognitive theory. So both of these theories are student-centered, which I believe is really important because it develops learner autonomy, which is it's a student's desire to learn on his own and be a lifelong learner, which I believe is ultimately the goal of teachers is to have their students give their students a passion for learning and give them the keys and able to or for them to play off of these interests. Anyways, the humanistic theory was founded by Petrarch, an influential poet during the Middle Ages, and it's basically viewed as a personal or learning is viewed as a personal act to fulfill one's potential. It teaches students to be intrinsically motivated. The humanistic theory involves a lot of self-assessment and really a lot of like setting goals and working toward individuals' needs to meet these goals. Um, and this plays into the social cognitive theory, except for I believe that humanistic theory is more individualized, whereas I believe that as students are going through these, I guess, these goal setting projects, they're also discussing with their peers about what their peers are working on. And I feel like it's such an important part of a teacher's job to create the community within the classroom. And I believe the social cognitive theory um, agrees with me that um, this is how students learn best, is by learning in a social environment. So this is a picture of how I envision my classroom to look when I have a classroom of my own, and I really appreciate how all of the student tables are kind of centered around facing each other. So it promotes face-to-face interaction. It's easily accessible for one-on-one conferencing with the teacher. And I make it a point to rotate the seating chart often to ensure that students are discussing topics with diverse partners, because I believe that this is very, very important in establishing a community of learners, that no individual student feels like another's opinion is more valued than their own. And I believe that this seating arrangement does a good job at displaying that. Some of the common activities in my classroom that I believe align with the Common Core state standards are my daily journaling, as well as my presentation of assessments, as well as I also want to have my students work a lot on collaboration projects. The 4 strands of language arts in the Common Core, or language arts standards in the Common Core, are speaking and listening, reading, writing, and language. And through daily journaling, through presenting as assessment, through collaboration projects, it touches on all 4 of these strands. And I believe that by using these 3 types of assignments, or types of assessments, I guess, students will really have these strands strengthened. Some other ideas that I have for my content area integration are having historical fiction literature circles, monthly book challenges where students are challenged to pick different books from different content areas and write little miniature reports on them, just kind of diversifying their knowledge about any different topic that they feel or they have interest in. And then also group and individual presentation as a means of assessment. I believe that this is a big part of my social cognitive theory, because working in a group, really there's a lot of benefits that come from working in a group, and a lot of qualities that come from working in a group that are very desired in the future. And as a future teacher, that is a big goal of mine, is to help my students prepare for their futures. Anyways, thank you for watching my presentation, and I hope you all have a great summer.